Greetings and welcome. Today on Geeks First, we talk about the legacy of Flesh and Blood Unlimited and what it means. We start this journey with none other than the very first Welcome to Wraith Unlimited. All that and more. Stay tuned. Folks, here we are. Flesh and Blood Unlimited. What does Flesh and Blood Unlimited mean for you as a player, as a collector, as an individual that enjoys the game? Well, Flesh and Blood Unlimited may be no more. As we all are aware, Flesh and Blood has transitioned into Flesh and Blood 2.0, which, with the advent of Uprising and the brand new, soon-to-be-released Dynasty set, there is no more Unlimited. So, what does this mean, in my opinion, for players of the game? Well, as we talk today, let's go ahead and rip open this Flesh and Blood Unlimited box from a good friend of mine and supporter of the channel. He is sponsoring this box opening on the journey of Flesh and Blood Unlimited as we discuss the nuances of Flesh and Blood's Unlimited release cycles and what it might mean for the longevity of Flesh and Blood. So, thank you, Tim. These boxes are his, and everything opened in these will go back to him. But he wanted me to discuss the interesting components about my thoughts on Flesh and Blood Unlimited. So, Flesh and Blood, having both an Unlimited and a First Edition, I think was an interesting choice by Legend Story Studios. What does that really mean? Well, that basically means... I think I did the card trick wrong here. Let me remember how to do this. Oh my gosh, it's funny how I forget how to do stuff. No, I think I did it right. Was it? I did 6? Yeah, I did 6. Oh, look at that. Arcbone. Okay, I guess it's 7. Alright, now we know. Anyways, Flesh and Blood's Unlimited, which is right here, was not, or I should say, is not unlimited in supply. Meaning that at this point, it is officially out of print. What does that really mean for folks that play the game? Well, Unlimited had the interesting standpoint in regards to basically its existence, meaning that it was designed for the players to provide cards so that you could enjoy the game. And this was much needed, given that even when I got into the game, which was, circa, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, there really wasn't, so to speak, any alpha product available or left on the market. And I guess to say it wasn't available on the market is an incorrect statement now that I say it out loud, but for a person that wants to play the game, it was unaffordable for me, Red Razor Reflex, good one, for me to be able to go and find the cards needed for me to play at any level that would be required for me to build decks. Ooh, that's a beautiful foil. Unlimited filled a niche, and I believe that with Flesh and Blood 2.0, they basically kind of solved that mystery and the gap between how they looked at the player base, the collector base, and how to satisfy both sides of that equation at the same time. Now, what's interesting with the way that they decided to go is that they opted to not only choose in Flesh and Blood 2.0 to go with a kind of combined collectability aspect which was not available in the Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, Crucible of War, Monarch, Tales of Aria, and Everfest. Well, technically Everfest has only been first edition, but there is a chance that that could be the last unlimited set. But with the advent of the way things have been looking, I don't believe that we're going to see that particular set show up, because there is just too much Flesh and Blood first edition Everfest floating around. But we'll save that for talking in a later video. Today we're going to focus more on Flesh and Blood and the Unlimited Saga. Look at that, a foil Potion of Strength. Gosh, that card's awesome. So with Flesh and Blood having Unlimited and having first edition, it basically kind of drew a line in the sand for players that if you wanted to play the game and you didn't get in the very beginning, you were forced to spend a lot of money on certain cards to be able to even play your hero. So in the case of WTR, that would mean trying to find your ninja stuff, your guardian stuff, your warrior stuff, or even, you know, I guess, technically, your brute stuff. I don't play brute near as much, but if you wanted to try to collect and or also play, that meant that you needed to basically work around and find a way to purchase first edition packs. Now, Bronson just did a video recently talking about this, but up until I think the very end of, what was it, 2021, boxes were available for first edition for relatively cheap. But then he discussed in his video, which I recommend going to watch as well, but basically the collector and investor, now known as Fabled Hunters, bought a large position, and Rudy had talked about it. So because he had mentioned it in a video, it sounded like, you know, individuals flocked toward purchasing that you know, first edition, and the price just shot up. Ooh, Alpha Rampage. Nice. First Majestic of the box. What that really did, though, is that unless people were mass opening these boxes, it was really hard to find or purchase cards that were not at a premium rate so that you could basically play the game in the capacity at which you needed to play. Or, you know, heaven forbid, you wanted to try to draft. Now that is where Unlimited, in my opinion, fills a great void. Now, I don't know as the game progresses how these cards are going to age over time. I don't know if that means that, you know, because, as an example, History Pack 1 has already been released, and we're going to be working through History Pack 1 in regards to changing this up. By the way, we're going to flip it to where now I'm not going upside down. See, this is the problem with having no head in the videos, because I'm not looking where I need to look, so that's my fault, folks. I am so sorry. Look at that. Now everything's right side up. Oh my gosh. See, look at that. God, it's like I don't know what I'm doing here. Anyways, so in regards to Flesh and Blood and, you know, the direction, Unlimited is super important, because Unlimited allows you, or allows players, to draft, to play, to collect, but they don't have to be forced to go after the super exotic cards unless they want to. Now, in 2.0, they did a really ingenious thing where they combined some of the collectability and introduced a new rarity tier. Now, we haven't hit the S tier rarity here, which is actually just called super rare, but I jokingly call it the S tier for those charting individuals that want to chart their, you know, is it A tier, B tier, C tier. The super rare only exists in the first two sets and was subsequently removed and replaced with Majestic going forward. But the impact for players like myself, collectors like myself, Steel Blade Supremacy. Look at that, a second Majestic. Oh, and a foil Iron Rot plate. That, oh boy, that is awesome. I love the foil equipment. It just stands out so well. The impact for Unlimited essentially means that players could play, collectors could collect, and there was this kind of harmony between the two. The good news is that a lot of these boxes got fairly cheap. I mean, WTR, even at this point in time, is probably only about a $60 to $70 box. So opening it doesn't really feel really bad, especially if you don't hit anything that you're looking for. Now, of course, as the professor would say, obviously, go support your LGS. Go buy your singles as you would want to buy your singles, because that's the best way to get exactly what you're looking for, instead of gambling, like a gambler's premium here, to try to find anything in this box that you might be looking for. The other aspect that I haven't heard many people discuss for the long-term impact is that it must be a cracked bubble. Cracked bubble. Best card ever. With Flesh and Blood's Unlimited, one of the things that is very interesting is that it really made it convenient for game stores to pick this up and not necessarily worry about having to flip it immediately. McGinshin release. This is the super rare that we were talking about earlier. This tier, oh wow, and a foil super rare. That was a heck of a pack. That's something that I enjoy seeing, is foil super rares, because I don't think that they really currently have the value that really I think in the first set they really deserve. So that's halfway through the box. So let's take a second to pause. As we look at Flesh and Blood's trajectory going forward, and we talk about Flesh and Blood, the Unlimited saga, keep in mind that Unlimited does not necessarily mean unlimited. As we now know, this is out of print. The same fate will hold true for pretty much every set at a certain point in time. This happens to almost every game. Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards remain in print for a set amount of time, and then those sets rotate out, and they become valuable over time. I believe right now we are in a renaissance period where we have access to basically very cheap unlimited cards. Now, as we progress into Flesh and Blood 2.0, that changes the dynamic of the game, and I can talk about that more in another video, where we see essentially the amount of boxes that people open and the quantity of cards within. Pounding Gale, another super. On top of that, what makes Flesh and Blood's first set, Welcome to Wraith special, is that Unlimited did have 2 print runs. This particular box, by the way, is a Japanese print run, made in Japan. There is a Belgian one, which, if you do find those boxes, they're actually kind of hard to find now. Those were the ones that contained Drone of Brutality, which at this point is no longer legal. Crack Bobble number 2. We found it. Unlimited has a dear place in my heart, because Unlimited is what I have cracked the most of. Now, does that mean that Unlimited is worthless? Does that mean that all these cards in the entirety of this opening are not useful? Well, no, I don't think so. There has to be some way for players 2, 3, 4 years down the road to be able to obtain some of these cards, and History Pack and or sticking some of these style of cards in reprint sets is probably going to be one of, if not the best way for them to continue as long as this game remains the way it is today, which means that this game currently, any card printed, as long as it is legal in that format, is valid for play. So this ninja equipment will be really good going forward until such a time maybe that is less relevant. That said, don't let it fool you, because if there are cards in some of these first couple of sets that unlimited was the other way to get it, and they have been out of print for a year or two, it might be really hard to obtain those cards in order to actually build the decks that you're hoping to play. So you have to kind of take that into consideration when addressing the concept that unlimited is truly unlimited, and first edition was for the collectors. Now, the good news is that nobody really at this point that I'm aware of is saying that Flesh and Blood is too expensive to play. I think we have skipped that hurdle, and in the process of them designing and releasing Red Snatch, the sets, they have managed to navigate the waters very well. And as a company, I think Flesh and Blood has done really good at not only the design, but the concepts within each of the sets as a self-contained, individualized product. Of course, they've had their missteps with a couple of different sets containing some cards that really were just unbalanced, but from a collectability and player standpoint, Unlimited has been one of those sets that, well, frankly, is just, I think, the right move. And the fact that they have now removed Unlimited means that, well, I think it's a good call. I really do. And over the next couple of videos, as we navigate through the legacy of Unlimited and open one of each of the products all the way up until the last Unlimited set, which, in the case of my mental evaluation, would be Tales of Aria. Because right now, Everfest does not have an Unlimited. But if that does happen before the time that this series wraps up, you will see it in here. And yes, now there is no more Unlimited, and that is indeed kind of a shame. But where else will you go for really amazing cards, such as what you're seeing here? Well, I think that it also has a lot to do with the market and tying things in with, say, the buyout from Channel Fireball to TCG Player and TCG Player to eBay. But Unlimited, holistically, as we round this opening up, I think was magic in a bottle. I believe that the feel of opening these style of packs, knowing that you can hit cards, but you cannot hit cold foils or exotically rare cards, and they have to be, oh, look at that, Crippling Crush, nice. Knowing that you can only hit so many of certain cards in these products kind of makes it feel better versus buying a product and hoping that all you're going to hit is some particular marvel or majestic or legendary that you basically, if you don't hit it, you don't have the value. But that's for those people that are seeking value in their decks. That does not necessarily mean that in the case of playable staples, such as like Unmovable here, these cards, over the long term, need to be, Wounded Bull, need to be brought back in some capacity, or the first couple of sets as they exist basically are going to be the only way to get those. And I don't know if that's going to be a good or a bad thing, but the fact that the artwork is the same so far on Unlimited and First Edition, and the only real difference is that the card itself, while functionally the same, only has a different moniker at the bottom, or in the later sets, because this was true in the first two, this symbol where it's the letter and colored in would be the rarity symbol for, this would indicate Unlimited in, or I'm sorry, this the way this is set today would indicate a First Edition card from all sets going from Crucible of War forward up until, I guess technically, Uprising, because the colored in version is what they call First Edition. Now the first two, Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising, the First Editions were printed with letters dash, and that is not what this is. But these are truly Unlimited, but the confusing part for most people is they just don't see this that often. Oh my gosh, look at that. This box is great. Singing Cellblade. Singing Steelblade. This is such a good box. I like it. Tim's definitely getting some really sweet cards out of this. He's going to be able to build some nice decks. So, wrapping this up and just kind of stopping my babbling for a minute here. First, Unlimited is awesome. Don't let anybody ever tell you that Unlimited is not awesome. Because for every time I look at cards, even though Unlimited is not first edition, it's still the same awesome cards that I can use and you can use in your decks. And we're going to finish this out with the last pack here. And then on the next episode of this, we're going to go ahead and jump into Arcane Rising, which is the second in this series. But overall, Unlimited, I think, is going to be something that I will miss. Now, from a store perspective, I'm pretty sure they're glad there's no more 2 SKUs. And obviously, that in itself brings some very interesting financial impacts when you have several things that basically mean that a company is releasing a product, but then that product has a first and an unlimited, and then somebody somewhere gives you essentially, I would say, some level of, I'm going to hold this product back so that somebody doesn't need it, or, you know, in the case of first edition and unlimited, it was most likely like Monarch scenario where first edition is easier or harder to get, but then after a while it was less, and there's a lot there. Anyways, this is the polls from the box. Thank you so much for watching this headless talking opening of Unlimited. I very much appreciate you tuning in. This is just the first in a couple of series as we discuss kind of the differences in first edition and Unlimited and kind of where I think things are going to go from here. So thanks for tuning in. Again, Tim, thanks for the opportunity here to open these and showcase some of these amazing WTR cards. Next episode will be Arcane Rising, and from there we're going to continue talking about Unlimited and some different aspects that hopefully will show you some more fun. So until next time, have a great one. Jacob, signing off. Oh, hey, I was recording a video, and this just in. Looks like a brand new spoiler just dropped. Live commentary. Payday. Assassin action. By the way, there's assassin class now. 3 to blue, 0. Dynasty. Buy tickets for blah, 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 blah. If you've completed a contract this turn, create 4 silver tokens. Okay, I can already tell Assassin's class is going to be freaking awesome. Another day, another job, another rat to kill. Jack Daw is the name of the person, and the art here, pretty sweet looking actually. So, ooh, this is going to be so fun. 3, 2. Greetings and welcome. Today on Geeks First, we talk about Flesh and Blood's Unlimited Saga. It all starts right here with Flesh and Blood's phone actively annoying me. God damn it. Flesh and Blood. The legacy that is Unlimited. What does that really mean? Well, we begin today's tale with Welcome to Wraith Unlimited. Now, I'm going to go ahead and disappear and just go ahead and give you some audio. What is the legacy of Flesh and Blood Unlimited, and what does it really mean for Flesh and Blood? we're going to stop this.